Sorry, the music will start in a second. Magister's too early as usual. Yes. And it's my first song, so it's kind of a spoiler now, but I was trying to post my links. So it's kind of... Okay. Links are posted, which means the music will start pretty soon. We're only gonna do 3 songs today. And then I feel like we actually have a lot of juicy stuff to get to. Not like super important world, changing stuff, but just fun stuff. On Cracker Island it was born, to the collective of the dawn. They were planting seeds at night. Grow up, I made a paradise where the truth was auto-tuned, and its sadness I consumed into my formats every day. In the end I had to pay. In the end I had to pay. In the end I had to pay. Nothing more to say. They taught themselves to be a cult. They didn't know its many strategies. They taught themselves to be a cult. They didn't know its many strategies. What world is this? What world is this? On Cracker Island it was raised by the collective from the grave. It only came out at night. It ate up the paradise where the truth was auto-tuned, and its sadness I consumed into my formats every day. In the end I had to pay out there on my silver lake. In the end it will be great. I'm like a ship between the tides. I held on, I surprised. They taught themselves to be a cult. They didn't know its many strategies. They taught themselves to be a cult. They didn't know its many strategies. I'm supposed to have backup vocals right there, like, what world is this? On Cracker Island it will die. Reverak knows the song, so he can be my backup. Join the collective in the sky, on the shining bolt of light. Go out to paradise where the truth is auto-tuned, and its sadness I consumed into my formats every day. In the end I had to pay. In the end I had to pay. In the end I'll be okay. Nothing more to say. Nothing more to say. Nothing more to say. So honestly, I didn't do the great job on that song, but in my defense, I'm supposed to have Thundercat as my backup vocals. And then the other thing is that if you've ever noticed that Gorillaz is my favorite band, Arctic Monkeys is my second, but Gorillaz is a band where like Damon is obviously the god of the band, and Damon Albarn, the one behind it, the brainchild, if you will. But one thing about him is that he uses his voice as an instrument. And so sometimes he'll sing stuff, especially in his very like British tonality, and it doesn't always make sense, the lyrics. Like for example, like, let's see, where he goes, into my formats every day, in the end I had to pay, out there on my silver leg. He's trying to rhyme. In the end it will be great. So he's keeping the same rhyming scheme. But he's also, he really plays up the, I'm like a ship between the tide. I held on, I surprised. See, I'm not British, even though I grew up with a lot of that stuff online. Long story into my journey into Hoppo Hotel, but that's for the podcast. But anyway, so yeah, that's why. It's a great song though. Damn, you're gonna say Oasis is above Gorillaz? That means that you're an Oasis over a Blur fan. I was gonna say ZB's right, because basically in the UK, especially for the 90s and like early 2000s, it was Oasis or Blur. And you were kind of an either or fan, by the way. Like, that's it. This next song is from Steve Lacy called Sunshine. I actually have backup vocals on this one, thank God. Looking like it's all catching up to you lately. Been a couple months since I told you it's over. Caught me off guard when I saw you last week. Oh, so tough, but you bluff when you had me. Saying my ex like my name ain't Steve. Gave you a chance and some dopamine. Safe to say after me you peaked. Still I'll give you dick anytime you need. I admit I wasn't alone. You're taking it just as hard. Criticize me all you want, but I'm always gonna be where you are. She's supposed to sing that line before that, by the way. I'm not sure why. Let me guess, they're gonna try to make me sing her verse that's coming up too. But I'm always gonna be, I took the high road. You ran through everyone. Is it that special if the whole world had some? You always chasing, can't replace it. Put those feelings back where they came from. Why can't we just get along? Or at least let's get it on. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. I would do it one more time. I would let you cut the line just so I could be right where you are. But I'm always gonna where you are, but I'm always gonna be here. But I'm always gonna be, yeah, yeah. I still love you. I still love you. I still love you. I still love you. I still love you.
This is love. I finally found it.
Someday, when my life has passed me by, I lay around and wonder why you were always there for me. One way, in the eyes of a passerby, I look around for another try and fade away. Just close your eyes and I'll take you there. Space is warm without a care. I take a swim in a deep blue sea. I go to leave as you reach for me. One way, better things will come our way. No matter what they try to say, you were always there for me. Some way, when the sun begins to shine, I hear a song from another time and fade away, and fade away. Just close your eyes and I'll take you there. This place is warm without a care. I take a swim in a deep blue sea. You go to leave as you reach for me. Oh, come on. Someone said you tried to look past me. Someone said we got it all wrong. Someone said we tried to pass you. Is there? Oh wait, no, that's cool. So far, so long, so far away. So far, so long, so far away, away, away. Someday, when my life has passed me by, I lay around and wonder why you were always there for me. One way, in the eyes of a passerby, I look around for another try and fade away, and fade away, and fade away, and fade away, and fade away. If you hear my background vocals, that's the dogs. I just rescued a puppy off the street, so sorry, he's not used to me singing literally at all. So I know he's trying to communicate to me like, hey, what the heck is going on, bro? Like, Okay. Hello and welcome. Let me do my transition to the Six Pixels Under podcast. That is Hermes, by the way, or Hermes, as correctly pronounced. He's a little baby. He's like 4 months. I just put him in the crate, so obviously he's actually generally pretty okay with the crate, but he's not so happy right now because he can hear me and he knows that I'm singing and having a good time. The dog was a part of the song. You can hear. I'm sorry, accident. For some reason, sometimes the video on Restream will just unpause. It's pretty scary. Now I want to listen to my alternative R&B playlist. Nice. I love R&B. Always have, honestly, since I was like a wee lad. I don't know if I told this story before, but like my best friend growing up was like a very was raised in a very traditional black household, and so like he got a lot of like some of the negatives of that, but he got a lot of the positives. Like his mom was very kind and welcoming to me, and also they loved playing music, and they would always play like jazz and mostly R&B, and so yeah, I really thank them and their family, the Robinson family, for teaching me about music, honestly. And that's why sometimes people will like ask me, they're like, why do you know so much like jazz, like musicians and R&B artists and rap artists? And they're trying to be sly about it, but what they're trying to say in some cases is like, why do you know so many black artists? And it's like, it's because I grew up with a black best friend, and that's all they listened to, so I got exposed to so much of that, honestly. No, the last song was Someday by Sugar Ray. So Sugar Ray has some pretty big hits. The biggest are gonna be Someday. Fly is his biggest hit. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. And then there's also, what's up, Mark? What's up, Tataki? What's up, Reebok? What's up, Osmandius? ZB, your boy Josie, Reverac, Magister. I think I got everybody. Sorry about the pup. I can't help. He's a baby, so he's gonna just need babying. Did you ask if I heard Damon's solo albums? Yes, I have. In fact, I want to talk something funny about Damon's solo, or speak a little bit humorously about his solo albums. They're really amazing, but they're incredibly complex, and I love it because it's almost like he makes them just for like music nerds and like other musicians. For people who haven't heard Damon's solo music, I'll play some. It's really good, but the joke that I was gonna make is actually that it's like it's so depressing. Like Damon is such an expressive person, but his solo album is, oh my god, it is so depressing. All right, check this out. This is why I don't do these for money, because like they'll just copy strike this shit as soon as I play a song, but I don't really care. So.
They didn't know where they was.
No, that's a sad one, but this one's supposed to.
When the service done and the parish have sung and the mid frequencies come to keep you away, when your body
so there's no chance that like people recognize, first off, because he sounds very different, but it's also just an incredibly depressing album. The album that I'm talking about in particular, well, there's two of them. This one's Everyday Robots, and it's basically like non-stop, like an expose, if you will, talking about like humanity and kind of like our robotic nature and the fact that we're so stuck in everything that we're doing, and like, but also like the human condition, and talking about like, I mean, it's amazing. I'm incredibly complex. If you're a kind of person that's into stuff like that and likes to read lyrics like that, I really recommend listening to it. If you already like the Gorillaz, there's a good chance you'll like it. But it is very dark, very deep, very heavy music, so I can't listen to it very much. I'm very music sensitive. Like, I go into two headspaces where it's either the sound or the lyrics that will get to me. And Damon on that album, both of them are depressing. So I just come out depressed sometimes listening to that album. No? Total War Arena, yeah. So we'll talk about Total War Arena. I just did a Death of a Game on Total War Arena, and the most talked about things were definitely regarding just the fact that wargaming was involved. There was a funny mistake that I made that's like, so it's funny, but it's also embarrassing because it's like you spend so much time on your videos, like what people don't get about YouTube versus maybe some other media. I know documentaries and other things like that have massive teams, so they don't have the benefit of person, or the lack of benefit rather of person. So like YouTubers really, I think, have to live and die by their word a lot more. And so what happens is like when we put out content, if we make mistakes, we'll never be able to fully correct them, but we can at least like address them and be like, hey, we're aware of that. And sometimes it can make you feel like whatever you're doing is undermined, which sucks. But you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, like that was like the thing that was talked about the most, is that I called wargaming a, well no, that wasn't talked about the most. Wargaming in general was the subject talked about the most, which made it annoying because I made the mistake of calling wargaming a Seattle-based company when they only ever had a Seattle branch. They're actually a Belarusian company, which is, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's just like, why would I not put that in there? And then the fact that I didn't put it in there really hurts the context. But here we go. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say origination because his solo albums are way more evolved, actually. In fact, if you listen to him whenever he was on Blur, he's actually way better singer when he was in Gorillaz. Now, I'm like not just a big Gorillaz fan, I'm like the biggest that I know. So I've listened to all the albums and listened to all of them pretty religiously. And including the first one whenever it was popping after the second one for some reason. I guess I just wasn't old enough to catch the first one first, but I listened to it after the second one. And I love the first one. It's very punky, it's very Euro trash, it's very British pop, you know? For people that know that kind of music, it's great. For those that don't, it was kind of strange for a lot of people. So I think it motivated him to want to make more broadly appealing music. So with Demon Days, which he worked with Danger Mouse, a well-known producer, he made a very wide-reaching album, has such messages. So if anything, like Damon's vocal chops get honed while in the Gorillaz primarily, in my opinion. Because if you listen to him on Blur, he was very punky, very raw. He was very like young, Def Leppard lead singer. He was very like just screaming out, you know. So if you listen to him more recent Gorillaz songs or the albums that I'm talking about, hear all of the lyrics. So yeah, that's Damon. That's his voice. That's the origination of his voice is him. But in the sense of like, he actually, I think, developed his talent further after, and it's because I think he was trying so many different sounds, styles, while in Gorillaz, he was able to develop his voice. And since I'm on a tangent talking about Damon, my favorite artist, but it's not clear. The reason why I love him so much is that he always operates, especially in live shows, he's way better live than he stops, and he constantly operates on the point edge of failure. So you always hear him struggling or about to like just destroy a line, like nail it and like perfect it. But the point is that he's always right there. He's like living on the edge. that kind of singing style is very exciting for me and enjoy. He's a baritone, so I'm biased, obviously, as a baritone. But yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about him is that he doesn't sing typical at all. He'll just change his styles when it just feels like it. Starts singing like church style on El Mañana or stuff like that. Like suddenly he's singing like Baptist church style. I went to Baptist church. How the heck is rant aside about a baritone? Well, it's spelled B-A-R. But it's so I don't know if anyone understands music. Baritone, tenor, I guess soprano, light soprano, a couple other ones. I'm not the best at remembering all of them. Are different vocal ranges. So basically, every human being has vocal range, right? I can hit high notes. See if I pull my Adam's apple, especially. But somebody who's a tenor can just speak and be like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I'm speaking in a low register right now because it's my normal. I can sing in this register. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what a baritone is that you have the ability to sing in both, but you're not necessarily amazing in higher notes. You're not necessarily amazing lower note, but you have this like slightly different reverberation because you're, which makes your voice sound unique. People's favorite like swing artists are almost all baritone. For example, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. These are baritone singers. Sorry, I'm actually away from my mic, and I turned down the sensitivity a bit since the dog was going crazy. There, it should be better now. And if not, I'll just turn it up more. But yeah, so what did Dr. Elsword say? Apparently Wargaming only came to development the last year of the game. Also, Arena started as a pre-order bonus as well, before being split to its own game. Well, Wargaming only coming to development last year, could you tell me why you mentioned that? Just out of curiosity. Because I'll tell you why it's completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant because they changed the monetization to the game. So even if they were there for one day, it literally wouldn't have mattered at all in any context except for the fact that they changed the game. Yeah, so I appreciate you mentioning that if that's indeed true, but you see what I'm saying? Like, they still changed the monetization of the game and made it a free-to-play game, which essentially locked it into a progression scheme that doomed the game, according to most people. So it's like, the fact that it was Wargaming even for an hour would have been a failure because the game, I don't think the game works in that kind of format. Apparently Wargaming, no, I already read that. Yeah, Damon did age like fine wine. And, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I think the baritones age bad, or good. And it's because we're not trying to push the limits as much. At least usually. That is one thing though, as a baritone you can strain your voice a lot because you try to sing too much in another key or whatever else. Yeah, did I already announce this on? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Okay, so the other things I wanted to talk about in the Total War Arena video. Let's see. We talked about wargaming, the progression sucked. Oh, people mentioned the length of the video. Not every story or case is going to be long. And I know most of you understand that, but I just thought that I'd mention that, like, sometimes they're going to be short. Sometimes the game only lasted like 8 months, 9 months, whatever it was. And sometimes there's not a whole lot of other parts of the timeline to tell. So yeah, sometimes the videos will be short, sometimes they'll be long. I try to shorten them as much as I can in the sense of like not adding too much filler, but they're generally pretty long anyway, I feel like. Especially the next one, which is going to be Halo Infinite, by the way. So, oh yeah, dude, Des, I forgot it. You're a perfect person here to meme about this, but there was a couple like 3 comments, I think, in total. Okay, maybe 2. Maybe I'm pushing it now because I'm exaggerating, but there was like 2 or 3 comments where people were saying, was that video an AI made video? Because either I made mistakes, like in the way that I like said something, or like, I don't know, it was like something weird like that, like something about like, it must have been an AI program because, oh no, I remember one of the guys said that it must be an AI program because I don't speak like he knows that I speak. It's like, interesting. But he doesn't know how I speak. So how could anyone be able to analyze me here who hasn't spent significant time with me if you are just watching the videos in terms of like how I speak? And second, why is that the thing you'd be looking for to see if it's AI? I feel like there's a lot more other obvious things about it. It's hilarious to me because it's like, yeah, like, in fact, that's a great question. Is Des knows me more than most here. Like, I could just ask Des, hey Des, like, talk to this person and ask them like questions about me and see if they know them. And I bet you they would not know the basic questions that you know about me. So it just goes back to the whole, like, when you try to psychoanalyze somebody, whether as your friend, whether as your hero, whether as whatever kind of character they are, you literally take the human elements out of the equation, which kind of makes the other person, like someone like me who has trauma, not feel very comfortable. So I responded how I normally do with this person, which is I said, like, can you fuck off with the parasocial shit? Like, you don't know me at all, so don't psychoanalyze knowing me. But then it was funny because one of their friends, I guess, I don't know if they told their friend or whatever the scenario was, came onto the post as well and was saying, hey, yeah, you're an AI program, or this is, you're not denying that you're an AI program in this video. And it's like, I mean, I literally said, how would you know if I was based on how I'm sounding? Which is also literally denying that it is me. And also, why the fuck would I do an AI program? Like, genuinely, what is the rationale there? Destroy my audience and career for what? Like, you think I'm stupid enough to think that my audience who watches nerd videos about online games wouldn't be smart enough to fucking know if I was using an AI program? I mean, come on. So that person was insulting you guys, not just me, because you guys aren't stupid enough to think that I made a fucking AI program to create my Death of a Game series recently, or whatever the theory is. Like, I'm an AI program. I made way too many errors in my singing. I could not be an AI program. But it got funnier because, again, his friend comes on and he's saying the same thing. So I said, hey, is that you? Like, saying, is it the same guy? Well, it turns out I click on the guy's page and he has like one. This is what I always notice about people who shit talk people, is they always have like videos, but nobody ever watched their videos. So they feel the need, I guess, for whatever compulsion. I'm not sure whatever it is, but you probably shouldn't have that quality or trait as a human, because it's not helpful in any way. Envy, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, where they go and they're really negative in another game or on another YouTuber's channel, and it's just like, I don't. Why are you spending your time doing that in the comment section? And then you always realize that, like, a lot of the time it's because nobody watched their content, so they have this kind of like bitterness inside of them where they feel like, well, I don't care about the whole sacredness of art if nobody cared about my art. And it's like, okay, well, fair enough, but at the same time, then you're opening yourself up to getting also responded to. And so what I did is I posted on his video, and I posted the quote, I forgot what it was in chat. Best probably remembers it, but I said something like, look, like, the common denominator between you posting negative shit on my wall and posting videos and nobody watching them is you. I'm just being honest. And the other guy got so mad that he came into the Discord and he was like challenging me to a duel or something over his honor for his friend, which I don't know if that was just him on his alt account, but he did admit it was his friend multiple times, including as he was screaming at me. I wish I recorded the chat. Sorry, guys. It was like 12 a.m. or something. I don't know what. It was like late at night. But I just jumped on the chat because I just like woke up and I was like, oh fuck it, like I'll meme with some random dude who's like angry about something, and I jump on and I was like, hey man, what's up? And he goes like, yeah, I don't like that you're bullying my friend. And I was like, you guys came and posted on my video talking about me being an AI program, and I responded making fun of your like weird calls to knowing me as a person for being parasocial, and your response whenever I meme back to you guys is that suddenly now I'm bullying you. Like, okay. I feel like this is the classic like stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself thing. It's like you bullied yourself. Like, why did you even like present me with whatever nonsense that was with the evidence of knowing me as a person? It's just weird and delusional. And for people to think that maybe I'm being mean about that, it's honestly not. Like, you can take the time to actually get to know me. That's actually a reality in life, is you can actually talk to somebody and get to know them. You can actually speak with somebody and get a better reading of them. And guess what? If you still hate them or hate them more, that's your prerogative. That's called your, you know, essentially choice as a human being. You don't have to like everybody. Well, no, we're talking about the topics on the video. There's another topic on the video that I'm going to cover too, trust me, and that's the one that's probably people will cry a lot more about in regards to ranting. But no, I'm not an AI program, and I mean, literally, I don't believe in doing AI work on my channel. So it's like, in fact, recently, whenever I was working on my game project, we started messing around with AI art, and we decided like if we ever did anything like this, we would never release it publicly. And it's like, that seems like pretty obvious, but it's not. Most people are releasing shit like that publicly and then selling it or whatever else. But anyway, so yeah, I don't believe in doing that kind of stuff for profit, because eventually somebody can figure that shit out. Like, I don't care like what people say, like, excuse me. No, I do actually believe in advanced AI and AI in general. That's the problem is that I believe in all of that, and I'd love to talk about all of that. But then suddenly now we're going to be sitting here talking about, like, actually, yes, I have considered doing AI coding, like specifically going to college for it. Even when I was in thinking about living in Spain, I thought of going to college for it. But anyway, but yeah, like I love AI. But now if I talk about AI, people are going to think I'm talking about like Chat GPT and like stupid shit like that. Like, I know it's cool, and like I'm not trying to like piss on everyone's like parade or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, for me, the online virtual world guy, I want roaming AI. I want AI that's like dynamic. I want AI that's like has a job and da da. You know what I'm saying? Like Chat GPT, that stuff that's like kind of cool. But I see it as more of like, maybe you give a couple NPCs the ability to just free ball some text or something. But there's not a whole lot of application for that stuff yet. I want an AI that can PK you. I would love that too. But the last thing I wanted to talk about on the video is a history lesson, okay? And I feel like everyone knew this was coming, or Des knew this was coming, or anyone that knows me know this is coming. So I love history. Now, I mentioned that the whole origin, well, I have multiple origin stories, as you guys know. They're different chapters that I should just make a video on it. but anyway, in one of those origin stories was I spent a lot of time in school not being challenged, and what I found myself doing is reading textbooks, and just because I was bored and I just like to read and I didn't have anything else to read. And so that actually like made me have a very high appreciation for history. So when I got to high school, I started taking the AP classes, and which, for those that don't know, in America, these are like the college level high school classes for history, and I did really well. So I've always done really well, both like academically in history, but also just personally love it and enjoy it. And I think it's because, like, for me, I'm always wondering how the world works and how things work. And like, what I find so interesting is that there's so many myths and just really, just to be honest, delusions about people that came before us that I always find so interesting to unravel for people, because it feels like so many people aren't aware of that stuff. And most people can just kind of like wave it aside and say they don't care, but like at the end of the day, in some sort of way, you do care. And that's the funny thing about culture and history, because you don't have a choice but to care about it, whether indirectly or directly. And like a good example of that is people will say like, hey, like cultures that have lasted X amount of years, but today the nation is known as like Norway instead of the Vikings. Like, what cultural relevance is that? It's just like, imagine telling that to a Scandinavian person. Like, what cultural relevance is a large part of their cultural relevance for the past 1,000+ years? It's like, well, of course it would be a large part of their cultural relevance still. Now, are there Vikings parading around like Viking people? Like, no. Because that doesn't exist really anymore, at least not in Scandinavian fashion, but you get the point. So some people have a hard time understanding how things even matter to you. So because of that, what people will do is do the cardinal sin for me as a person, one of the cardinal sins, which is just being flippant about history. Now, if you want to be flippant about history, you can go do it somewhere else. I don't give a fuck. Like, go not read a book somewhere else. Wow, that's so cool. Go not look at the globe and know what country is which country. Whoa, that's so like admirable. Like, hey, that's all on you. You can stack your agility points, stack your strength points, stack your points in some other tree if you want. But I'm just saying that like history can actually help you see the world better, understand things better, and understand that there is some level of significance in your day-to-day life that you can actually take some level of either value from, or even just interest, and be like, oh, that's cool, you know, like at a base level. All right, so that's the beauty of what I was going to talk about. Okay, so for those that don't know anything about history, what you'll find is that throughout history was written by people that wrote. For starters, right? Right? History was written by nations and groups of people who did writing, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that a lot of history and writing was destroyed, and it was often destroyed because of either the Bronze Age collapse, which happened, or was destroyed because of various other reasons, through force, through battles, through wars, through plundering, so on and so forth. Like the Library of Alexandria, the greatest library the world had ever seen, you know, before the turn of the century or whatever, was destroyed completely. So things like this have existed, right? Where like, I'm not always super harsh on people because a lot of this information has been kind of hidden or destroyed. Now, that being said, the problem is that people think that Rome and Greece wrote all the history of the world. But the problem is that's not how history works. Rome and Greece don't suddenly get the sole benefactory of writing all of the history, right? And so the problem is what people will start to say is, I know all the arguments because I'm sorry, they're very elementary. I literally was a very highly skilled historian while I was in academia, performing against the highest of my entire country. So I feel confident in saying that, like, I know a little bit about history, and I'll talk to you about it. So people were saying things like, yeah, but I just looked up on Wikipedia. They didn't say that part, but I know they did. I just looked up on Wikipedia that originally it was just used because they couldn't understand their language. So it sounded like them saying bar, 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 bar. That was how they were originally named. But did you know etymology, or the study and concept of language and language origin and word origin, never actually stays in a straight line, which means that words never stay the same. So the term originally was used to say these people that speak this weird language, and then literally Plato wrote it down in stories where he said, hey, we shouldn't lump them as barbarians because there's actually a massive group of people and different types of people, and they're not all even speaking the same languages. Plato said this, guys. This is how stupid people are, is they think that I don't know this. I actually read all of that stuff. Plato, remember the guy in Greek history? He said that. He said we shouldn't just lump them in, but guess what he did? In his writings, he proceeded to call them barbarians. So he made the mistake of lumping them in despite calling out that you shouldn't lump them in because it would lead to problems, basically. Well, that's the funny part, is people will mention that, but then they don't know that Plato said that right after literally writ it down in text. You can even go read it. And so that's the original idea, is that it goes from like the language of people we don't understand to these other people. On the same Wikipedia link that everyone decided to read the first paragraph in but no further, it literally even says that everyone, including non-Romans, anyone that was non-Roman or non-Greek, was called barbarian, which means that they were using the term incorrectly. If the term is supposed to mean what people say it means, which is they're not civilized and they don't have writing, but a lot of those tribes did. So then they're not barbarians literally, logically, meaning nobody cares about your feelings of, I don't care that words have meanings, I personally don't care. It's like, nobody gives a fuck, dude. Like, the literal logic is that they weren't barbarians by literal definition, okay? Now here's the funniest part, I always think, and Des, you're kind of alluding to this, is people will talk about, yeah, you know, they were barbarians and that's just accurate for the time. Wait, what made them barbarians? Raping and pillaging? Rome was doing that at an empire scale, meaning greater than anybody else in any single entity. Okay, well, how did Rome get started as a nation? Well, it was Etruscans that were two powerful brothers that decided to leave their city, go form another city called Rome, and decided, you know what? We should probably just make our own city and we'll create our own power, sense of power, and we'll just do it that way. Well, how can they suddenly create a city overnight? Anybody have any ideas? It starts with the word R and ends with the word, or it ends with the word E, or the letter E. So starts with an R, ends with an E. But they told you that it was about Romulus and Remus and the story of Rome, and they were wolves and the brothers killed each other. In reality, brothers had a squabble over power and killed each other. One won, and then the other one proceeded to do what was literally on record as one of the largest cases of like mass rape. Like it's literally in the books. Like, that's the craziest thing about all of this, is that by that logic, then Rome would have been barbaric and barbarians. But if we're not gonna call them that, then is it only the non-Romans and non-Greeks? And it's not a racist term? It's not a slur? Like, someone here that believes in this shit, please somebody work through me with this, because nobody in the comments was willing to go through it with me, obviously. Most people didn't even respond after I spanked them in the way of understanding history. And so the last funny thing, because that's another funny thing, the last funny thing about the story is this. The same barbarians that you are so obsessed with calling barbarians, they actually still exist. The peoples of those peoples, the bloodlines, they actually still exist. They're called Germanic people. And there's many other types of groups of people and tribes within that overarching group. But that's the weird thing, is I saw somebody say, yeah, it's not like Germanic people still exist or whatever. It's like, how long do you think this happened ago? Like, what the like, how long ago do you think this happened? Like 7 million years or some shit? Bro, this happened like 500 to 600 years ago, if you want to talk about the tail end of all of it. And so, you know what we found out from DNA testing alone? This is not even considering your hereditary lines and all of that stuff that we can track in more like methodical ways. Get this, right? The DNA test already can track it up to 250 years. Fact check me on that. DNA test right now can already track you past 200 years. So anyone that tries to take away cultural meanings from you, hereditary meanings or any of that kind of stuff, is not only dumb, they're delusional. Because literally testing already exists right now, that you can already look back and see that you're a percentage of whatever the fuck you are. And do you want to know why I know that? Because I'm literally indigenous. I'm 7% indigenous. It comes from my grandma on my dad's side, where they were literally indigenous mestizo Mexican people. So how is the indigenous blood still in my DNA if it doesn't matter or if it doesn't have any effect on me? Yes, it does. Don't be stupid. Because if it tracks for over about 200 years or so, Aztec Empire happened in the 1400s. Does anybody want to do the math? That's actually not that long ago, which means that your genetic identifiers will still tell you that you're an indigenous person. So that's why it was so funny for me to read this from both sides, because I'm Germanic, a quarter, and then I'm 7% fucking indigenous. So it's like, you guys think that I would want to be called a slur by the people that conquered us, that we then conquered in return? Like, think about that for a second. People that aren't Germanic are posting comments on the video telling me, a Germanic descent person, right? Remember, my dad's dad fled as a child from, I don't know, a thing called Russia in World War One. It's why they're not there anymore. But anyway. And yeah, so it's like hearing that whole thing was just funny on both sides, because it's like, well, the Germanic blood still exists. Otherwise, why does it keep coming up for me as an identifier? And why does everyone in Mexico call me German when they see me? Everyone here thinks I'm German, by the way, or French. One person has thought I was French, one person thought I was Canadian. No, two people thought I was French, one person thought I was Canadian. The majority of people think that I'm German, or some type of Germanic thing. So that's the other thing that's funny to me. Again, as a person who grew up without any of my Germanic roots, I'd never claimed to grow up with that culture, right? My dad's dad left him, right? So I never got that culture. But it was funny to like now be here in Mexico, in another country where I look very different, especially, and people all think I'm German. And I am Germanic. So you see what I'm saying? It's like this whole thing was absurd and funny for me, because it's just like, not only do you guys not understand history, you're not Germanic at all. So why do you care about what a Germanic person is telling you they don't want to be called? I'm telling you, I don't want to be called a barbarian. And I don't want my ancestors to be called barbarians when they defeated the nation that called them that in the first place. It doesn't make any sense. Well, if I'm indigenous, of course it means that I'm Hispanic, by the way. Unless the tribe that my family's from in Mexico somehow avoided contact with other people completely, you know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't happen. So no, I'm Hispanic too. In fact, I'm 7% indigenous, and I think I'm like 11% Spanish, or 6% Spanish, or whatever it is. All in all, I'm like about 25% Mexican, indigenous, Spanish, 1% Basque, another 25% Germanic, and it's like Germanic and Eastern Europe, because I've mentioned before, I have some Ashkenazi Jewish, like Russian family members that also fled Russia, that are distant, but I met them actually in a crazy turn of events. But and then the last 50%, as I've told people most of the time, is most of what I grew up with, which is the Minnesotan, Scandinavian, Norwegian, Scottish, Gaelic, like, upbringing. Like, that's what I was raised on the most, besides the Hispanic side. So even though I'm 25% or whatever, that's what I was culturally raised as. But I did have more exposure than anything else besides that to the Scandinavian, Minnesotan kind of roots, if you will. So I'm just a boiling pot, long story short. But the point that I'm making is that the Germanic part of me is actually like Ukrainian Russian. And so it's just always interesting to see people talk about groups of people they're not only not a part of, but they don't even care about. Like, why do you care about if I'm telling you that I don't want to call Germanic people barbaric or barbarians, and it wasn't even accurate for the time? Like, it's just a weird thing. Hey, how's it going, young Falcon? Yeah, look up the painting The Are of the Sabine Women, because basically this is what Rome did. Rome tried to make a deal with every neighboring city. They all rejected. So what do you think they did? Like, I'm not trying to trivialize it, but I'm just trying to make you guys understand what was going on back then from the most powerful modernized nation emperor. What happens when someone says no and you ignore them? That's why it happened. Because they wanted to circumvent the growing process of a city and suddenly become a megacity. And it's what they did. I don't necessarily want to go to that. Like, well, like I'll let you go there, and I'm okay with anyone else going there. You guys can tell me your beliefs and views. I'm not gonna, smack y'all around for that shit. Like, at the end of the day, as long as it's not hurting anybody, right? Like, they must be Catholic. That's the only reason I can think of for why they're concerned about Roman Barbary. You know, I'm gonna say like, I'm gonna take a step back, and I'm not trying to like soften your blow. I'm just gonna soften my own and say that like maybe it's more of the cultural reasons for that. Like you grow up and you're just like, barbarians are barbarians, and I don't read a book, so who cares? And you're like proud of that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it becomes, well, no, it was accurate to refer to them as that. And it's like, I mean, like in some ways, I guess if the term is going to be used accurately for what it was used at the time, but the problem was is that it was almost immediately used as a slur. And the history books even say that. And so that's where it gets really weird. It's just like somebody saw a barbarian in Diablo 4 and was suddenly like, oh wow, it's not a slur, it's amazing. It's like, that's a class in D&D. That's not what they were talking about. But anyway, so that was probably the most absurd thing that I saved for last for the Total War Arena death of a game. Was, yeah, people wanting for some reason to talk about this stuff when they have no depth or ability to. It's like, why do you care so much about that stuff? I don't know. But anyway, now that Falcon's in the chat, I can talk about, because I have an audience, a captive audience. I'm just kidding. But that I was going to start playing Street Fighter this week end, and that Sonic Fox is my favorite fighting game player. So it's been really exciting to watch them play Street Fighter, and also more so Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat they're like destroying everybody at already. Yeah, I've been excited to get into the fighting game community. I feel like not only do I feel welcome in many ways, martial arts, MB, annoying, just kidding. It'll be a fun journey. There were a couple of topics that I wanted to get to today. I'm not going to stream for long because I've got puppy duty, and he's a pissed off puppy. He doesn't want to be in there, of course. So Palia was a game that I had talked about a little bit. It was like this like Harvest Moon Animal Crossing MMO type thing. Well, it turns out the game only has up to 25 players in a zone, which means that they're falsely advertising as an MMO. And I kind of always knew that they would, for some reason, end up going that route. And it's just a shame because people are going to rail that game because it's not massive in any facet. It's a multiplayer online RPG, and I don't get the obsession with trying to call your game something that it's not. I don't think it helps your game anymore. I think it helped during the peak of MMOs whenever they were just, oh, it's an MMO, let's play it. Like, are people really searching something out just because it says MMO now? I don't really know about that. Like, for the suits that keep like predicting this data, can you show me that data? Because I don't believe that shit. I do think Sonic Fox is the fighting game code. I appreciate that. Pax Die and the League MMO. I want more info on both. I agree. It seems that the cool thing about Pax Die, at least, is that like, or Day, I'm not sure what it's called, is they said they're not going to take funding until they have a certain amount of funding for the game already. And that's always a good thing. It's what I've been complaining about for most of these games that do that. Can't wait for Armored Core. Me too, man. I'm excited for Armored Core. Anything with mechs, I'm excited. Don't get me started on a mech MMO. Can you imagine? Custom make your own mechs, sell and trade them, fight them, PvP with them, like try to defend the world against like extra fucking terrestrial threats and shit. Like, that'd be awesome. Sorry, I keep getting further from my microphone for some reason. Let's see. Yeah, so that's going to be happening in August for Paleo. Other things that I had, there was a thread on mmorpg.com, or rather the subreddit, where they said, why isn't allowing players to vote on new content or changes more common? And it's not more common because essentially developers have to build the game with that in mind, which means they have to build their essentially content pipelines with that also in mind. And the problem with that is that most developers, and more specifically publishers who don't know anything about online games, don't want to do it that way. And it's because they want to control everything as much as they possibly can. And we've seen this happen in so many cases where games will come out and people say, how come there hasn't been an update for 4 months? Well, just do the math. 4, 4, 4, 4. You know what I'm saying? 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. That means that every 4 months or every 3 months, there's a quarterly or trimesterly or whatever the heck you want to call it, like update or some type of cycle that's going on, right? All of these games are going through this, that we're well, the ones that are failing that we're talking about, they're going through some type of like 6 month, 3 month, 4 month schedule, where it's like within these intervals of twice a month, or sorry, twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, they're having updates. And so that's actually super infrequent for an online RPG or a massive multiplayer online RPG. And so I think that that's a big part of the problem, is that's the publishers doing that stuff. They're enforcing that. So if you're wondering why those types of game developers and publishers can't do this sort of thing that old school RuneScape does with the whole voting and the community polls, that's why. It's because it would take them months to be able to implement anything anyway. And then on top of that, they want to be able to control what they can implement so they can make money from it. So it's like this weird thing like that. Like, they don't have any faith in the community themselves because they feel like, well, we're in charge of monetizing, right? It's like, yeah, but you guys don't know online games as much. Let's just be honest. MechWarrior 6 is coming next year. Oh, nice. Wow. What the? Interesting. Microsoft MechWarrior Online in 2025. All right. Warhammer 3's roadmap is now 3 DLC a year. Cool. Yeah, people were saying I should check out Warhammer because now apparently I can play the what the heck is it called? The main story mode or whatever, like the main mode that like you couldn't play before without 3 expansions. Or no, the 3 versions of the game, the first, the second, and the third. Apparently now you don't need that. You don't get access to any of the characters, but you can still play it. So it's like a nice compromise. Another post on the MMORPG subreddit was, why was Gravity unable to do a proper sequel to Ragnarok Online? Go watch my video. I talk about it in that video, but I'll give you a little bit of like a hint or like a blurb. The reason is because very early on, they lost all of their creative developers. The guys that created the art and the original story are gone. It's not more complicated than that sometimes. Like, it's actually something I've gotten more frustrated about with certain companies, is that like, or people in conversations, I should say, is people that like talk about a certain game. They don't want to talk about like BioWare happened for the longest time. People are more honest about it now, but for a while people are like, BioWare, it's BioWare. It's like, which one is BioWare? The owners aren't even there anymore. The original writers aren't even there. The original producers aren't there anymore. Like, who's BioWare? You know what I'm saying? Like, and anyway. All right, and this was another cool little topic that I'm not going to poo-poo it, but I'm actually going to open it up a little bit. And it was written by Bree Royce on Massively Overpowered. And the question was, and again, these are created to create conversation, do you have any real-world skills that come in handy in MMOs? And I'm actually going to go ahead and like answer for myself and partially for everyone, but please answer me in the comments. which is that, of course we do. We all do, because we live in a world, which means that when you grow up and learn to function as a child, you're learning skills for a world, right? If you were to suddenly get transported to another world where everyone was like a lizard or something, you would still have some understanding of how worlds work. The problem is that you don't know how that world works. So maybe gravity's different. Maybe food sources are different, right? These are all things you'd have to learn. So the big things with MMOs are learning, discovery processes, right? And the already existing world elements that we're already familiar with. Emergent gameplay means I walk outside and suddenly someone's like, in fact, I'm in Mexico, so I have perfect examples of emergent gameplay. So Mexico is very like market bazaar style, right? Where of course it's a very modern economy, da 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 da. But the point is that it still has a very market economy. So I just walked outside and I was trying to get some milk this morning, and there was a guy right outside and he was selling this. These are called conchas, which are like Mexican bread. So here's an example of emergent gameplay where I went and got this sandwich, which has ham in it, ham and cheese in it. This one right here with a little like croissant bread, and then this one is filled with cream and has chocolate drizzled on it. So that's an example of emergent gameplay. Is that I walked outside and suddenly someone's like, "Hey, I got this." I was like, "I'll take that," you know. And I PvP'd him. No, I'm just kidding, but and I paid him. Anyway, so that's what worlds. It's important about a world, and that's why I harp on that so much. I know some people want to feel like, oh, why do you always talk about the world elements? You just use that as a mechanism to shit on games. It's like, no, I'm using it as a mechanism to try to prop games up. Which means that if you don't want to be a worldly game, don't call yourself a massive multiplayer online RPG or a virtual world. Call yourself something else. But if you want to be worldly and you're building a world, then that's what people are going to expect. And that's why so many games get boring and have no longevity, is that there is no world there. There's no progression system. Sometimes there is, but the world doesn't mesh with the progression systems, right? And so that's why, like, to answer this question, in a sense, again, please answer me in the comments, all of us have skills. The question should be, what are your specific skills? You see what I'm saying? Because we have specific skills. We're all humans that do different things. And I'll talk about some of mine. Playing for god amounts of time. My record, I have 2 different sessions. The most I ever played in RTS, I played StarCraft 1 for 20 hours straight. I played SWTOR for 36 hours straight. And I was literally hallucinating. Partly funny, partly proud, partly embarrassed. Especially because I was at a really rough time at the time. Like deeply depressed. My mom just died and shit. Like it was like weird in my life. But I was like drinking espresso fucking monsters and shit. Like started seeing things like, oh man, it was bad. 36 hours. I don't recommend ever going over 20, honestly. 20 you feel like, okay, I'm just a degenerate, basically. But over 30 you start. The sun. That makes sense, Sword. Thanks for telling me. Oh man, when you made the EverQuest death of the game, it was legit playing EverQuest. And I was in a guild of 300 people. How is that a dead game? I feel you, man. Like, whenever you're in that world, why would it feel dead? You know, and that's why I have respect for people that defend things in some ways. Like, the people that are like, I love this game. I know it's bad, or I know it's dying, but it's dead. It's like, nah, I mean, I get you, man. I told you guys the story before, and I always have a different crowd, so sometimes it's worth repeating different stories. Of the first time the guild leader for my guild in Star Wars Galaxies, he was one of the oldest guilds in the game, in the first city on this the planet of Locke. And he told me to go to this city with him, and he gave me a tour. And remember, he could open any building because it was his city. It was the weirdest thing ever, guys. I went there with one of my friends who was in the military, was on leave, and whenever he was on leave, he'd play Galaxies. Most of my military buddies, by the way, played Galaxies as role-playing stormtroopers or like clone troopers. That was this guy. His name was literally Rex. And anyway, so Rex and I were chilling with the guild leader. The guild leader was a fucking high-level representative of NASA. Anyway, which is so fucking bizarre. But and he says like, "I'm gonna give you guys a tour." So we're walking around the city and we're looking around and we're just like, dude, I start getting emotional, guys. He starts telling me stories. Oh, this is when, Chuko used to come here and get his rancor and he would like buff people, and like this is when, Zania would come here and she would build the crafting thing, and this is why they built this and they put the city here because of this and this. Dude, he's like telling me all this stuff, and it felt like I was genuinely in a ghost town in real life, and I knew all these people died or something. It was bizarre, and that was one of the life-changing experiences I had as a kid, because I remember sitting there and I cried, like not like, but I had some tears in my eyes, and I was like, man, like these dudes are dead, like. And I think it was because like I was so engrossed in the world, and this guy was too, and he remembered all of these stories that happened, which is part of what a world is, right? A collection of stories and experiences. And he told me about them, and I felt that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So it hit me. And ever since then, that's when I realized the power of those games. That they can make you feel like you really are in another world. But it's up to the developers to do that. And players have to expect more from them. That's why you shouldn't push against people like me saying, hey, Final Fantasy XIV is not massive. Because it isn't. But there's nothing wrong with it not being massive. The good thing is that there is still room for us to build a massive story-like experience. That doesn't exist yet. Imagine if that existed. We don't have a frame of reference because we don't have a story massive multiplayer online RPG yet. We have SWTOR. We have Final Fantasy XIV. We have ESO. We have these very bite-sized, instanced, cut off like versions of that. Imagine the big, massive version of that. Again, I don't even have a frame of reference. No. So that's exciting to me to think of that versus like seeing it as like, you're trying to shit on my favorite game, or whatever else. It's like, I'm not really actually shitting on it, because Yoshi P is in agreement with me. He's not trying to make it massive. So it's not like I'm like saying something he like sees it and he's like, oh wow, like, yeah, fuck this YouTuber. Like if he saw what I was saying, he would just be like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like I'm just acknowledging it, you know what I'm saying? And I know that fan base gets very sensitive, but I'll also mention before I go, because I do want to go here pretty soon, there's another sensitive fan base that I've pissed off. So I know everyone knows about me pissing off Final Fantasy XIV. The EVE fans got mad at me for a while. Overwatch fans are still pretty mad at me. I mean, I got a message from a dude the other day that was like, this guy doesn't take criticism. He just like hates everything. I click on his post history. He's like shilling for Overwatch in the comments. I can't make this shit up. And I'm like, alright, bro. Made that video a while ago now. Like, still posting about this stuff on other videos. Yeah, so I know I've pissed off a couple of fan bases, but the next fan base I'm gonna piss off is the Halo fan base. But guess what? I'm coming out guns blazing, because the difference between Halo and many of these other games is that not only do I have a large amount of playtime within the Halo franchise and Halo Infinite, like I might be one of the best Halo players. I personally know, and I've played against many top players in Halo. I've played in tournaments, and I've played at the highest ranks in all of the Halos. And yeah, I'm up there. Like I was invited into the Halo flight testing for Halo Insider, and I've been a Halo Insider member now for like 5 or 6 years. And the reason being is because whenever MCC came out, I grinded it, even whenever nobody was playing that game. And so I think that maybe they found out about me then. I'm not sure, whatever. But I started getting contacts from Bungie and Halo and all that sort of stuff. And whenever it became 343 and they transitioned to Halo Waypoint, I got invited rather to join their company. Sorry, the program, which is the Halo Insider, whatever the fuck it's called, program. And the Halo Insider thing is essentially just like you get updates, you get access to patches, new versions, certain games. So I tested Halo Infinite before it came out significantly, and have tested the majority of Halo products before they came out, including Guardians, including Halo 4, which I think I got from like a pre-order thing back then, so I didn't get invited or anything, but... So I have a long history of testing Halo. I have a modded Xbox in Halo 2. I was a modder, like prolific modder in Halo 2 and Halo 3. I had multiple accounts, I could mod online. I can still mod in those games. I was a Halo 1 PC player, including a modder in Halo 1 PC. So the point being is that, like, I am probably one of the bigger Halo fans you know. And that's why I'm so excited to tell the story. Because I feel like, not like I have a bone to pick with people or I'm ready for people to attack me. No, I actually feel like I get to talk about something that I love as passionately as I want to. But guess what passionate also means? It means being honest, at least in some cases. And I'm going to be very honest, which is that 343 has taken essentially the LeBron James, Michael Jordan of the fucking shooter world and turned it into Skabowski off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was, yes. Guardians had like a pre-purchase thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they took the best player in the shooter market, essentially, especially for the time, and turned out the most mid shit ever. I am going to talk about this the entire video, which is the context matters. People want to isolate it and say, yeah, but Halo 5 was kind of good at the end. It's like, does kind of good kick it as a Halo franchise? Since when has kind of good been good enough for Halo? The first 3 games were blockbusters. Like, the 4th game was a blockbuster and it sucked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people even know that. It sold really well, despite that everyone stopped playing it because they didn't like it. But Halo is a massive franchise, sold extremely well. And they gave their studios to essentially a couple classic developers, but primarily a new studio. They gave Halo, LeBron James, to a new studio. That new studio has churned out masterpieces like Halo 4, Halo 5's microtransaction fiasco, and then of course now, Halo Infinite. And people have wanted me to like, oh, be nice, like, oh, it's... Now, they just put in Slayer mode and career points. It's like... Imagine working in your job. Let's say you wait tables. And you have 3 tables that you're servicing. And you just decide not to serve one of those tables for whatever reason. You don't even let anybody sit there. You block the seats off. And then suddenly, the next work day, you start sitting people there and your boss comes up to you knowing you only have 3 tables and gives you a great congratulations. Congratulations, now you can work on 3 tables. It's like, they wouldn't say that. I know I waited tables. They would say, why is your 3rd table not bust? Get your 3rd table open. Get it working. Come on, do your job, bro. Well, this developer has made 3 bad games. And people still want me to look at them and be like, well, you did 3 games, you know? You did Halo games. You know what I mean? It's like, why would I celebrate that? Because I'm the desperate Halo fan or whatever? It's like, no, I wouldn't celebrate that, and I don't celebrate that. And I think the 343 is one of the most interesting developer stories for me, personally. Because I think they're one of the worst developers. And sorry, but I will show that after this video. Like, don't have a high view of them, including after talking to multiple contacts who were there before, because they worked with primarily contract workers, by the way. Yeah, I don't have the highest view of them, and I think that people are way too lenient on them, so... I've already angered some Halo fans, but the truth is, this video will actually stir up a hornet's nest, and that's what it's supposed to do. Because I want 343 to know about it. I want them to hear about it, and I want the fan base to hear and know about it. And know that this is not excusable. That releasing like a Forge mode a year after the game comes out is insanely horrible. That like pushing the game out as fast as you pushed it out in the first place was already horrible in the first place. The whole like turning it into free to play, then creating some of the worst skins and microtransactions we've seen, it's just like, I mean, they've messed up in almost every category. The only thing people can say that's positive about Halo Infinite is that it feels vaguely like Halo. But you know what? I'm going to show you guys some clips because I want to illustrate to you guys something that I've noticed when studying in this video. And I'm very deep into this stuff if you guys can't tell me talking about this shit right now. So the stuff that I've been studying is the fun aspects of Halo Infinite versus the fun aspects of other Halos. Let me turn up the sound here, and I have music playing, so sorry about that, but one thing I want to notice first immediately about Halo Infinite is that the sound is horrible. Sorry. People don't talk about it enough, but the sound is fucking atrocious in this game. It's not punchy at all. All the guns sound really like low impact. Everything you do sounds low impact. You can't even hear anybody run, and when they're running, it sounds like they're sliding around on the floor with fucking slippers. So there's very little feedback here. There's a guy blinking, I don't even see, or fucking barely can even see his outline. So there's hard readability. Notice how the map, everything is grayscale. There's barely any fucking color on this map. Here, I think I have like a game winner here. Okay, so, you know, it's like kind of exciting, like some exciting shit kind of happened, right? But, yeah, I don't know, just something about like when I play Halo Infinite, it feels so sterile, you know? Like, it always feels so sterile to me. And then I'm gonna show you some hilarious clips that were from me playing last night, Halo MCC. And I want you guys to see the difference.
Chillin'. Here we go. Who did that? Yeah, I got you. Let's do it.
Hop on top. Let me hop on top.
This is a random guy.
What are we waiting on? There we go. Hey, yeah. Whoa. Hold on. Right here. We got him. They got a warthog on that though.
Keep going, cut.
What is going on, dude? Like, that's how I always feel when I'm playing this game. Look at this. I just took this clip randomly. Like, the clip makes no sense, and it's just like the random stupidest shit ever, but as you can see the joy on my face, like, it's so entertaining to me, and it's just like, that was H3 last night. Like, I was getting into like the stupidest things. Like, I have other clips like that too, where we were just like doing like stuff that just you don't even think of normally doing in a Halo game necessarily. But when like you're like my cousin and I, and you play so much that you do stuff like that. Sorry, I'm trying to look for another clip. Okay, here's a great one. I don't have moments like this in Infinite. That's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. There's no proximity chats, there's no lobbies, you can't talk to each other, there's no social elements. You can only talk to your teammates. So that's my cousin talking to me, it's because I'm calming them saying, hey, let's go, come pick this ghost up. Let's pick this ghost up. So we kill this dude, and we grab the ghost. You guys didn't see that, right? Where's my camera? Okay. I can. Alright. I can explain. I can explain. Yeah, I'll show you guys one more time. I can explain that.
We're out. We're out.
Anyway, so a non-written rule for those who've not played MCC is that if you don't jump when somebody's riding their vehicle, they will 100% run you over. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do in the game is run my teammates over because they won't get out of my way. So anyway. But yeah, it was also the guest player, which is even funnier because the guest player is a little slower to hit the jump button. You see, he like hit that jump button a little slow there. But like that's the thing about Halo is it's just fun, and it's like for people wondering, wow, you're just trolling in these games. Actually, the funny thing is that the person I'm playing with, my cousin, was dropping 20 or 30 kills in those games, and I was like top 3 fragger next to him. So meaning that we're still top fragging even though we're just fucking around. And that's just, to me, the beauty of Halo is you can still have so much fun and just do nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that does not get talked about enough. And with Infinite, it does not feel like that. It feels so sterile. It feels so like artificial. Just, it's a shame. But I was able to feel that myself from playing through. And yeah, I have other clips too, like clips from Reach, clips from all the Halos, pretty much, because, you know, I was just doing that in random games. Like, it seems like the majority of my best clips are definitely from H3. But H3 is also the most common game on MCC, by the way, guys. Hold up. I was trying to see if I had any other juicy ones. Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Hamza.
Oh wait, I was listening to a podcast. Sorry. I wanted to record the footage myself because I'm very particular about certain games and how they look, and it's actually why I got involved in like video gaming in the first place in terms of making content. It sounds hilarious, but it's true that like when I used to watch reviewers, when they would play MMOs, they suck so bad, and it always bothered me for some reason. I just felt like they were not doing a good job of representing the game. So I didn't want just random clips. I wanted clips that not only show off how good the games are, including Infinite, but can show off little intricacies that only like a veteran can show, like the ability to stick people. Here I'm corralling a player. Here I'm using cover and dodging and, you know, doing little tricks and stuff like that to try to like outsmart people. Little clips like that I know that like you're not gonna get in just random clips if I pull them offline. So, and obviously I did get some Infinite footage too. There's just not as much, and that's the other thing is I'll just be very clear with you. Like when I try to record clips for both games, like it's way more enjoyable for me to record clips for MCC right now. It's not even fucking close. Like, and you know, again, Infinite doesn't feel like it's a bad game. Like there's exchanges like this one where I feel like, okay, you know, I've got a cool gun. This looks like a slightly cool map. There's like a little bit of red around for some reason. You know, like I got a cool spot. I learned how to jump up there, use the sandbox. Like, you know, you'll find some little spaces like that, but generally speaking, like, just, I don't find a lot of moments like that in this game where I'm just really enjoying myself. Anyway, rant aside. It's like people who record gameplay do it on purpose to try to make you play, or to make you play to go, I can do better, maybe. But no, I think it's just more that like oftentimes writers just aren't very, like, they don't have very good reflexes. I'm just being honest, like stereotypes, blah, blah, but whatever. It just seem to be mostly true so far. But the issue with Halo is that with competitive shooters and competitive games, if you don't have some level of skill, you kind of can't really break it down, in my opinion. And you know, Ackman's already did a video about Halo Infinite where he's talked about a lot of the story of it, you know, the narrative. I want to talk about a lot of the brass tacks of it, the actual Halo parts, the gameplay, the little bits, the desync and little moments of meleeing with the shooting, the flow of combat, the very you see what I'm saying? Like, pass the ping no card, bro. The ramp custom game is pretty hilarious. Halo 3 has a lot of great custom games. Yeah, for people who haven't played MCC, I still recommend playing it, by the way. MCC is like, again, I was playing last night. I'm shocked at how much fun I still have in Halo, man. It's like, I know it's all depressing because I'm making Halo Infinite, but it's like, man, Halo's still a great franchise, though. Like, they have something there. They could do a Halo 3 Combat Evolved remake or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here we are. About to make a video about my probably favorite shooter of all time. Not even close. Like, but that being said, I'm excited. It's a story that needs to be told. And I saw Des make the meme earlier. Don't worry, I'm going to tell people a lot of times that I'm a non-X player. I'm just kidding. But for some reason, I noticed that whenever I made my Overwatch video, I was pretty shocked that, like, because I've made other videos where I've talked about my level of play before and nobody ever seemed to care. But in the Overwatch videos, like, I was getting grilled by some people that were like, yeah, like, you're trash, like, you used to be top 500, who cares? You probably couldn't even make Diamond now. It's like, I did make Diamond. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I made Diamond more recently. And then people are like, oh, no, he's Diamond, but, like, he hasn't played in, like, fucking 6 months or 3 months or whatever. So it's like 4 months. It's like, okay, now what? What's the next, like, and that's the thing is like, all of this stems from me growing up online as a Halo player. Which is, if you want to attack somebody's credibility as a skilled player or their understanding of a game, one of the easiest ways to do that is to just play them. I've never met any player who's really good at a game who doesn't have any understanding of it. I've never met them. But yeah, nobody ever takes me up on that offer. And Halo, I'll be honest, is the one game that I really wish people would. Overwatch, it's kind of trolly. We do headshots only, so we can't spam abilities on each other. But in Halo, you don't got to do any of that time. I was a 1v1 champ, man. I'll 1v1 all day, every day. Most people that know me in Halo, they know I'll play 1v1. In fact, I'll play a Halo game right now. Fuck it. Let's do it live. And I'll write it. And I'll play it. And then we'll do it live. But I'll play one game, then I gotta go, guys. Oh yeah, where's my chat? I need to add the, what is it? Sorry, it's, wait, browser? Browser, here it is. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm not a very good streamer. There we go, I think. Something. I haven't played on stream in forever, so apologies. Should we do a BTB or just like a normal? We'll do like a normal because it's faster. So what I call this with my cousin is we call it going full Halo. We play everything. Everything with everything unlocked. It's called playing full Halo. What, you guys want to play? Well, you better hurry, because I gotta go soon. I'll play with you later, it's all good. I'll just run a game right now by myself. I'll play with y'all later. Because I got my pups, and they're gonna want to come out soon. Hey, yo, what's good? We got snipers on Reach? Oh no, of course it's gonna be a game that I suck at. And no, I'm not just being fake humble. I'm not the best at sniping at Reach.
Slayer.
Slayer. So should I play regular or should I play Claw? We'll play Claw. We'll play regular. Or we'll play Claw.
Lost the lead.
But I can play both. And I actually prefer to play Reach as a Claw player. Oh no! I shouldn't have even chowed that. There's like 3 of them up there. And I missed so many shots.
Revenge. Double kill.
Ooh, he's hiding up in that other thing. What, we already got a lever? You gotta be kidding me. Alright, we might have to play another game if we got a lever. That sucks. Ooh, I just noticed it was no radar. Come on, they have to be up there.
Revenge.
Where'd he get? Oh. I didn't even see that guy. What? Where did he go? Apparently I'm playing with freaking Houdini or some shit. And by the way, if you guys want to remark about how I never sprint, trust me, I know, I'm not a very good Reach player. I always forget to use the sprint. I think that's the same guy that's been killing me. Oh no, my other teammate quit too. Okay, this is great. Oh, I missed 2 shots right there, dude. I'm the biggest choker. So do you just not get No, you get like a 10-minute timer when you quit. So these kids are quitting because they're just like, I don't want to get destroyed for however many minutes. But if I quit, you guys can't even watch me play anyway, so. Literally think that I just had to get destroyed for like 9 minutes straight. Yo, chow that! Yo, bro! He didn't even chow whenever he was fighting me. You never know what kind of players you're playing with in MCC, because if people all queue, which means they queue with like all kinds of players, it means that you'll play with players of all skill types, because some players will only play one game, and I always call them losers. Because they'll like only play Reach. So if you ever play against a player in MCC who seems like they're too sweaty at one particular game, they'd probably only play that game. And you can test that theory out by just queuing only that game with them. And what you'll find is they only will play that one game. What's best for us is to just keep fighting, fight as much as possible.
Revenge.
Kills, honestly. one shot. You're one shot. You'll peek. Come on, didn't that one look like a heady? Sound effects are great. I will be honest in Reach. Like I know that like I can have my complaints about Reach, but the sound is incredible in this game. Like even just the way you sound whenever you're like you're dying. Ooh, that one's moves. Dude turned on me. Sorry. Man, respect to this dude for not quitting though. Because imagine if it was just me, it would take me forever.
Double kill.
Yeah. Oh. You're trash. Told you. I'm zooming in a little bit, y'all. Come on, give me something.
Revenge.
I'm clicking in a little bit. I'm faster. I'm clicking in. I'm okay at this game, I think. Oh damn, I suck. Damn. We're not doing bad, you know? Oh wait, I heard somebody. I think that was luck. Oh nice. Oh, we both suck. But you suck less. You see him teabagging. That was funny. That guy's actually kind of free for me. Apparently that guy ain't.
Revenge.
Ooh, how did I not peel his top? Oh, I choked. That's just a choke. I feel like if I heated up sooner, maybe we would have had a chance, but...
Double kill.
They're like triple chopping me. Oh shit. Alright, 4 more, we're good. Oh no, I always choke when it's an easy shot, I swear. Give me a layup with a sniper, especially in this game when I'm missing it. But I'll like flick like something insane for no reason.
Revenge.
If I hadn't missed that first shot, that could have been a double right there. But it's all good. Oh, I'm dead. That's game. Woo.
Game over.
That sucks. Oh yeah, you asked me a question about the anime PFP? I don't know what the meme is there, I'll be honest. I'm trying to scroll up and like read it. Let's see your true ability. Alright, well if you want to see true ability, don't let me play Reach. Let me do Halo 3 or 2 real quick. Yeah, Reach is fun, man. I like Reach. I don't like losing 2 of my teammates immediately though. That sucks. But yeah, so Halo's just a fun game. As you can tell, I always have fun playing it, and I don't really even get too bothered, even with like quitters and stuff. It's just like, you know, it's whatever. Just kind of play. Like, it sucks when there's quitters in Halo 1. That game takes forever, dude. Well, it's not why I didn't load up Halo to show that I was good. I loaded up Halo to show that I love Halo, but I am also good at Halo. I dropped a 20 bomb real quick, which was, you know, it's alright. Yeah, this is a good map. This is kind of a sweaty map, so you guys are gonna see me sweat a little bit. I mean, I'm already fucking sweating, but you guys are gonna see me sweat. I don't have a second monitor, by the way. That's why I keep doing that. I'm a brokey boy right now, but I get paid soon and I will get a monitor. I need one. It's hard to work without a second monitor, let alone stream.
Slayer.
Alright. What? I was gonna say, he must be 1 or 2 shot right there. Damn, they got the sniper. Be a one-shot top mid. And the rockets. Dude, I think they literally got every single power weapon. Nice nade. We got a shot. I just gotta start getting some actual kills. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, why? I thought I would have naded that thing for sure. I should have just shot it, honestly. Uh-oh. I think we both shot our teammate there. One shot. He's one shot. Somebody push. Alright, we can't be bottom leaderboard. We gotta heat up. I kinda like this map, you know? Ooh, that was nice. These feel like Halo 3 kids, by the way. Which is good, because it means that we're gonna get a challenging match. Oh, bro. This guy's like running into me and shit. Oh shit, I failed the hell out of that name. Dude, we're getting beat by elites. Uh-oh. And they got the next spawn. Yeah, these are sweaters. We're playing against at least a 2 or 3 man queue because they're both on the spawns. And I mean, it's like, that's the #1 thing people will complain about in MCC, by the way, is pre-mates, because, you know, if you're matched up against a pre-mate in Halo, it's an auto loss, by the way. There's pretty much no chance, realistically, you will win. Because Halo's a team shooting game, which means it's all about, like, playing together. As you can see, my teammate just got the kill right there. Even though I failed to get the kill, he, like, came up to him and finished him off. That guy either feels like he has no lag, like he's on host, or he has like 20 ping. And Halo 3 is a very ping reliant game because it has projectiles. But he, like that dude right there, Knight MRDR, has got the cleanest connection I have ever played against. He's got some butter. Uh-oh. Man, we got shit on, dude. Can we all scored like the same fucking kills too. Well, Murray only got one less than me, and I only got one less than the other dude. Well, alright, now I have to do another game because I went from having 2 levers to now playing against a pre-made. And you want to know how I know they're a pre-made? Watch this. So right now in lobby, you notice how the lobby just disappears all at the same time for some reason? Why would it do that? Why would the lobby suddenly disappear? It only does it when you're playing against a full pre-made. So that means that I was playing against a full pre-made? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Give me something here. Oh, we need to go to Halo 2. Fuck. To do BXR, we gotta play Halo 2, man. You see them all fill up individually? It went like bum, 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 bum. What that means is that this is a legitimate open game. So that means we're playing a full solo queue game right now. So that's pretty much the only thing in this game.
Gross patat, boy.
The heck? The guy on the enemy team has all chat enabled. Hey man, don't start crying, bro. I haven't started killing you yet, you know what I'm saying? See, I don't think he knows his voice is on. Because I just spoke to him.
What's up, fucking bitch?
See, there you go. Yes, I'm petty. If everyone's wondering if I'm the guy that does that, yes, I'm that petty. And I'm not afraid to admit it. Alright, let's mute this guy real quick. He's listening to Eminem just going crazy over there. Got the Eminem legend on the enemy team. You see the difference now? The difference is that we're playing against nothing but solo queuers. And there's no pre-made. The pre-made destroyed us last game.
Spree, sniper, spree, double kill.
And people be like, you're only saying that because you're doing better this game. Where'd you go? I was gonna do a 360. Oh, by the way, I am that teammate that does that kind of shit. I'm sorry. I'll be like up by like 20 kills and then just do like stupid like stuff like just for the memes. But to me, that's playing Halo in essence. Like, what makes Halo so great is that you can just kind of like fuck around and just stupid stuff. And that doesn't mean that you're not trying, but it just means that you're trying in a different way. Nice name. Alright, I'm fragging like crazy, but I'm not actually getting any like conversions, which means that my team needs to push more, or I need to push more with my team. Okay, here we go, we got another rocket on spawn, which makes me feel a little bit sweaty, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Flag stolen.
this is pretty sweaty, bro.
Drop.
And I could honestly pull this flag if I wanted to.
Flag taken. Flag drop. Flag taken. Flag dropped. Flag taken. Flag dropped. Flag recovered. Flag taken. Flag dropped. Flag taken. Flag dropped.
Yo, grab the flag, bro. Yo, whoever 117 is, I'm gonna TK you if you don't grab the flag. The dude just left the flag. Y'all saw that shit on live, bro. What the? Come on, don't choke. Don't choke.
Flag stolen.
He was one, bro. If I didn't miss that last bullet. Oh, overshield spawn. See, the sound's so good in this game, bro. The sound is like God tier. I was able to identify like that's what just happened. That guy can't snipe at all, bro. Can somebody just push him? He look like he'll fall over.
Flag captured.
Did you just see that guy jump off?
Flag stolen.
Eyes below us.
Flag stolen. Flag drop. Double kill. Killjoy.
I'm actually gonna head out after this one. I'll play later though. Yeah, I gotta take care of my dog. I just didn't want to have a game be against their 2 leaders and then a pre-made. He was 1 hit from his shield. Did you see that? I don't know if we're gonna win this multi because my team's not even trying to cap, bro. So. At one point, I killed the whole team twice in a row, and nobody converted. Hey, y'all gotta push up, bro. Let's get some kills. Push up. Come on, homie. Watch this. He is not gonna see this coming. Aw, damn it. Apparently, I'm not either. Use 1 shot.
Flag drop.
I like to run the flag, by the way. I'm just not doing it because we're clearly not getting enough slaying. And so if I just run flag, then nobody's gonna slay. So it you know, it kind of... There's always a give and take, like... I know these guys are gonna push me. So I can just sit there and throw nades. When you're a shit shot, you can always do that. You can just snipe somebody once, and then... Or just beat them to death. But I was gonna say, you can snipe somebody once, and then just shoot them.
Flag drop. Flag taken. Flag drop. Flag stolen.
Alright, I can't miss this.
5 minutes remaining. Flag dropped. Flag recovered.
Use 1 shot.
Flag recovered.
What? How'd that one miss? I should have just naded because there's a delay on the shield, whatever the heck it's called, the shield ripper thing.
Flag stolen.
Okay.
Flag dropped. Flag taken. Flag dropped.
Hawkins are up, but you get this flag.
Flag recovered. Flag recovered.
He's gonna pull it again. I choked the first shot, but I still got 2 more rockets on that rocket. And since it's CTF, there you go. That should happen.
Flag taken. Flag dropped. Flag reset.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly. I really don't.
Double kill. Killing
I don't know what I'm
spree.
gonna do, guys. Maybe just kill the whole team. That was so cocky. I like jumped up with like half shield. Come on, team! Dude, this is our best chance right there. You saw that. We had 3 on flag right there. That was everything we had. I gotta change up the angles y'all attacking from, bro. Y'all attacking the same angles. You know what I'm saying?
Flag
Help
recovered.
you switch this shit up. It helps. Because Halo is a projectile-based game, you can actually attack from incredibly far away. Like, insanely far away. Most people don't know that. If you zoom in with the BR, you can actually snipe people from across the map. It's just most people don't think you can because you don't get rumble. And it also, the reticle doesn't light up. So people don't feel like they're hitting you. But, it's not my best mate, but, I don't even know if I should push this. Oh man, he choked. He didn't even like shoot a shot.
1 minute remaining.
Bro, is this guy seriously one shot right there? I can't hit him. Look at this guy in the corner. He was in the rattiest spot ever. I could not hit him. It's narrows, so you're getting
Flag
sniped.
recovered. 10 seconds remaining.
Anyway, this was fun. I'm glad I did this. I'm gonna go let the goobers out. Where they kick my ass.
Dead. 30 seconds remaining. Flag stolen.
Why is this like that?
Flag dropped. Game over.
We lost to 1 score. What do you think about a full Halo CE remake or reboot? I mean, if they get the right people, it'd be awesome. But I don't know if they will at this point. Yeah, in order to increase your DPS, if you teabag spam after each snipe shot, it supercharges the next snipe shot, so it hits harder. That's what I'm saying. I think it looks good, but I wouldn't say it looks modern. Damn, we dropped the 30 bomb? I'll be honest, I didn't even notice. But they dropped 227 bombs on us. And look at the deaths. Our team was like, was feeding. But I'm used to that, so whatever. Alright guys, well, I wanted to play a little bit of Halo, and talk a little bit about it since I'm going to be covering Halo Infinite next. So that's why that's there, and that's why I will be showing off some of the footage in the actual video of me playing Halo MCC and Infinite. So there'll be a lot of my own footage in this game, or in this particular video. So anyway, on that note, I've got to go to the restroom. It seems like every time I'm about to do an outro, I have to go to the restroom, so it like speeds up the outro. But anyway, I gotta go, and I gotta go let the dog out. And yes, I'm actually going to end the stream. I actually mean it. Anyway, it was good to talk to everybody. Thank you for stopping by 6 Pixels Under Podcast and talking with Nerd Slayer NS, or Justin, your host, whatever you prefer to call me. And have a good rest of your Wednesday, your half-week point, give or take. And I will see you guys next week. And stay tuned for Halo Infinite, because it's going to be a big one. So that's going to be awesome. Okay, later, guys.